Okay, good morning. It's John here. We're out in the drill yard, Station 2, following up to a video I did a few months back with a Apparatus salt nozzle. And I wanted to take that same hydraulic theories and calculations and put it into a master stream. We got three different vehicles, three different apparatus here in Central Saanich that can deploy a master stream or a larger type attack to either reset a fire or protect exposures on a large conflagration. As luck would have it, they're all different. There's not any two vehicles that are run the same. First off, we'll start with the Apparatus Mercury ground attack monitor. Engine 1, Engine 2 both have this unit. Works really well, connects up to some 2.5-inch hose. You drag it out, you put it on the ground, you got a valve, you got a nozzle. It's got some feed in it with some tungsten carbide teeth. Just a great piece of kit. So the book on this one is nozzle pressure 100 psi. If you put 100 psi on this particular nozzle, that's 500 gallons a minute. We're going to do more videos as we go down on this where we'll actually show you what your pump discharge pressure will be to get 500 gallons a minute. Quick attack ground monitor. Next, we got the nozzle from ladder 1. And rather than climb way up high or muck around, we just brought the nozzle down for the video. This is a automatic nozzle. It says right here, low pressure nozzle, 250 to 1250 gallons a minute at 80 psi. This is an engineering marvel. It is an automatic nozzle. What the automatic nozzle is, think of your thumb over the end of the garden hose. If I put 79 psi at that point, at this point right here, or at the end of the garden hose, we are going to get 250 gallons a minute. We're going to get good back pressure, we're going to get a good stream, we're going to spin these teeth. It's going to be an effective 250 gallon a minute fire stream. And just not a lot of volume. As we increase our throttle, increase the pressure, say we go from 79 to 81. We get to 81, that's more pressure. Your muscles on your thumb can't hold it back so much, it's going to open it up a little bit more. Exactly what happens here. When you get above 80 psi, say you crank it up to 85, then this spring will keep opening and let more volume come out. And if you keep opening the throttle, it will go all the way until it's wide open. And when the spring-loaded automatic nozzle is wide open, we are now at 1250 gallons a minute with 80 psi of back pressure. So now we're working real good. So to think about this, we can put 250 gallons a minute through a window or through some sort of opening with a nice stream, penciling as the fire dynamics course talked about it. We can do a straight stream, pencil in, not disrupt ventilation, put 250 gallons a minute to reset a fire while we're setting the table to do a fire attack. We get a large fire in a lumber yard, we supply more water to the truck, more water to the inlet through relay pumping or whatever we want to do. We can just open the throttle, get 1250 gallons a minute. Ladder 1. Engine 2 has a setup on it with the stacked tips. The tips that we all, just makes you feel like you're in New York or something. It's great. The way Engine 2 is set up, it's a manual monitor up on the top, manual deck gun, I guess. It's up on the top deck where we're standing. We're on the deck of Engine 1. And you put it into play. You got an 1 3/8 tip on here. Go into your fire flow charts. 1 3/8 at 80 psi is 500 US gallons a minute. So we take this up, we point it through the window, on the fire, whatever we want to do. We can pencil in 500 gallons a minute at 80 psi, gives us a good penetration, a good stream. If we got the fire in the lumber yard and we need to flow more water, then we got to take the tips off. We got to shut it down, take the first one off, you go up to 1.5 inches, take the second one off, we're to 1.75 inches, take the third one off, we're to 2 inches. 2 inches at 80 psi is 1,063 gallons a minute. So you're running around 1,100 gallons a minute at the optimum pressure, which this nozzle was designed for, to put out your fire in the lumberyard. The thing that we've sort of learned the hard way is you start off 500 gallons a minute. This engine can draw 500 gallons a minute through its booster tank and rocket it through this 1 3/8 tip. By the NFPA standards, the fire pump has to be able to deliver 500 gallons a minute from the booster tank. So if we put this into play while we're laying a line or while we're attaching a hydrant and charging a hydrant, we can reset a fire. If we put this into play while we're establishing a water supply, go around the Charlie side of a building or whatever, we can reset a fire, we can stop the spread of fire. While we're running from a booster tank in the quick attack mode, it's this or this, not both. Once we're established on a water supply that can handle it, we bring more water into the truck, we could run both. Quick attack mode, stack tips, or ground monitor, not both, because we are limited to 500 gallons a minute from our booster tank. To recap, 500 gallons a minute, take the tips off. If I take them off all the way down to 2 inches, I'm up to about 1,100 gallons a minute. The key with this is you got to shut it down, change the tip. Take a tip off, put a tip on. And that's how you change the flow. Recap the automatic nozzle. We just keep opening the throttle and we keep pushing against the spring, and it lets more flow out of the nozzle. So to recap, that's how that works. Now we come back to engine 1. Different story. With engine 1, we have a ground attack monitor, same as that, 500 gallons a minute at 100 psi, if you can do it, and as I said, we're going to make that go. Or we have the big Sabermaster deck gun. It's not the Ladder 1 automatic nozzle, it's not the engine 2 stack tips. It's a Sabermaster, which is a smooth bore at 2 inches. It's fixed. You can get a straight stream, you can get a fog stream, you can do, all sorts of neat stuff, but it's 2 inches. 1,063 gallons a minute at 80 psi. If you want to run this from the booster tank, and maybe we should try that one day, try and run it from the booster tank, you can only get 500 gallons a minute from it. So from the booster tank, before the pump starts to cavitate, we just won't get an effective stream on this, and we don't have any way to neck it down to 1 3/8 inches like we do on engine 2. So this one is pretty much limited to your fire in the lumberyard, your large conflagration, protecting exposures, hosing something down. We'll give it a try, but I don't think you're going to find it's effective for resetting a fire or penciling from the booster tank. I think you got to go to the ground attack monitor. 3 different apparatus, 3 different theories, 3 different pieces of kit. 2-inch fixed, 1,063 gallons a minute. 1 3/8 inches stacked tip, 500 gallons a minute, which you can do from the booster tank. And then you can take the tips off if you want more flow. You just keep taking the tips off and it gets bigger and bigger. Or Ladder 1 with a spring-loaded style automatic nozzle, which will give you an effective fire flow, effective stream, I guess, a forceful stream anywhere from 250 to 1250. So that's sort of the sum up on master streams, I guess. Things that are beyond hand lines. Life's good. Happy Earth Day.